Hello, my fellow coffee beans, and welcome back to my cozy corner of chaos. If you're new here, hi, I'm Coffee Mug, and I cover all things Stardew Valley and cozy gaming related. And today is a really special day. Like, a really special day, especially for Stardew Valley fans, because this February marks 10 years since Stardew Valley was originally released on February 26th of 2016. 10 whole years, which is totally wild because the game doesn't even feel old. It doesn't feel outdated or forgotten. In fact, it's doing the opposite. This game is still actively being updated, still gaining new players, still dominating cozy gaming conversations, and as of 25 is officially one of the top-selling games on Steam after a whole decade. So today I want to talk about why. Not just why Stardew Valley is a good game, but why it has lasted, why it keeps finding new people to enjoy it, and how it quietly became one of the best games in the last decade. So get comfy, grab a snack, and buckle up, Buttercup, because we're jumping right into this. Starting off with the beginning. What is Stardew Valley even about? Because I'm sure not everyone watching this has played the game, or maybe you played for 5 minutes and never picked it back up again, and that's okay. That's what I'm here for. On paper, Stardew Valley is just a farming simulation game, period. You inherit your grandfather's farm, you move to Pelican Town, grow crops, raise animals, mine, fish, form relationships, and slowly rebuild both the land, the community, and yourself, while also creating just a new life. But anyone who has actually played Stardew Valley knows that description barely scratches the surface. Because Stardew Valley isn't just about farming and creating a new life, it's about starting over. It's about leaving something that was draining you. Joja, the cubicle, the grind, the quote-unquote burdens of modern life, and choosing to take a leap of faith and leave it all behind for something slower, quieter, and completely uncertain. It's about routine, finding comfort in repetition, about waking up every day knowing what needs to be done, but also knowing it's okay if you don't do it all because the choice is yours and there's no rush. You can min-max every mechanic or ignore efficiency entirely, speedrun to perfection, or take 5 in-game years to just finish the community center. And the game never tells you you're wrong. Your actions may have consequences sometimes, but every choice you make both has pros and cons. And that freedom in this game is everything, and why it stands out above all other farming simulators and, to be honest, games in general. But behind Stardew Valley is one person, Eric Baroni, known online as ConcernedApe. And it's impossible to talk about Stardew Valley's legacy without talking about him, because Eric didn't start off as an industry veteran. He wasn't backed by a big publisher, and he wasn't chasing trends or analytics. Stardew Valley began as a personal project for him to practice programming and game design after college to spice up his resume a bit. It wasn't even supposed to be a published game to begin with, and instead of narrowing the scope, he expanded the game entirely. He learned how to code the entire game, create all the pixel art, compose the entire soundtrack himself, write all the dialogue, and design systems that interlock beautifully. He did it not only on his own, but completely self-taught. And that's not just impressive, that's rare. And it's one of the reasons Stardew Valley not only feels so warm, but so comforting, because everything comes from the same emotional place that the entire game was made with: love. See, Stardew Valley was inspired by the classic Harvest Moon titles, a series of games that emphasize farming, relationships, and community over combat and competition. This game happened to be one of ConcernedApe's favorites, but where those older farming games felt limited by rigid systems, Eric said, you know what? Bet. He basically did what we all wish we could do and took a game that he loved and made a game with all the things that he wished the original game had. Character development and growth, choices that mattered emotionally and not just mechanically, and above all, a game that respected your time instead of punishing you for not optimizing it. That's where Stardew Valley shined. It took a familiar genre and infused it with heart and soul of somebody not only raised by the genre, but was also in love with it. So, development began began around 2012. For more than 4 years, Eric worked almost entirely alone, often in isolation, often without the certainty the game would ever succeed, and with the worst PC setup in gaming history. I mean, just look at this thing. This is absurd. This beautiful legendary game was built on this. Are you kidding me? But the thing is, there was no guarantee that this would work, get him a job, or even become successful, and there was no promise of any recognition or fame. He literally was just trying to get a job, and to be honest, he didn't want the fame. He just wanted to get a job. So he just kept developing. Even when it felt like it took forever, he just kept going. And by the time Stardew Valley launched in February of 2016, it wasn't a flashy release, but it didn't need to be, because what followed wasn't hype. It was people finding their place. Stardew Valley's launch didn't just have happy players who enjoyed the game, it had players that got attached to it. Because it wasn't just a game, it was an experience, and people recommended it to you the way they recommend a comfort show or a favorite book. It brought warmth, comfort, and an escape from the everyday average life that we are all so used to. And instead of moving on to the next project, ConcernedApe stayed and continued to refine its contents, listen to feedback from its players, and expand the universe even more. Massive updates rolled out through the years with new crops, new characters, new locations, new romances, and entire late game systems, all without paid DLCs.
All without paid DLCs.
And in an industry increasingly defined by monetization, ConcernedApe did the complete opposite and said, no, that. Over time, Stardew Valley was welcoming in new players from every genre and audience. Hardcore gamers loved its systems and combat, casual players loved its calmness and just overall chill vibes, and people who didn't consider themselves gamers fell in love with it. I mean, you have grandmas and grandpas teaming up together running their industry farms like they own the place. Because it became the game you bought for a friend who was stressed, a partner who didn't usually play video games, yourself when you needed something gentle, or for both you and a friend to play together. But the legend status doesn't come from sales alone. It comes from staying in power. 10 years later, Stardew Valley is still the king of the farming sim genre and is still being discovered for the first time, still being modded, still being analyzed, still being updated, still being lived in. I mean, people don't just play Stardew, they live in it, they thrive in it, and some fans have even grown up in it. And the game has grown with them. It never chased trends, it never bloated itself, it never forgot what it was, it just listened to its audience and continued to make improvements. And that's why it didn't fade from the spotlight. So, with all this being said, happy 10th anniversary Stardew Valley. Thank you for proving that small games can have a massive impact. Thank you for reminding us that progress doesn't have to be loud. And thank you for creating a world that feels like home to so many people. And thank you, Coffee Beans, for being here. Whether you've played for 10 years or 10 minutes, everyone is welcome in Pelican Town, as well as in my community. So make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy all things Stardew Valley and cozy gaming related, and be sure to join in on the fun over on Discord and Twitch, where I will be celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Stardew Valley from now until the end of March. Enjoy and happy farming. Love you guys. Kisses. Mwah!